Oh, okay.
Cool and Dre.
I just wanna see if you gon' lie, you gon' love me. I was getting bras way before I got the money. Honey, since I've been a star, they don't love me. The ceiling got stars when the star got no ceiling. Stick it out, poke it out, stick it out, poke it out. Yeah, she got a little butt, so what? Big bag, she can show enough. Stick it out, poke it out, yeah, stick it out, poke it out. My regards to the bras that thought I was done. Pick a side, and die in a jump. I've been letting things slide, they trying too hard. Cause I ain't left the city once, still travel abroad. Nigga, I'm back on my bar shit. The stick in the Honda Civic, we in the car service. I really just mind my business and pray that God sort 'em. Can't really be long-winded, you talking short money. Today we not cost cutting, can you stick it out? Told me she was quarantining, brand new titties out. And there might be a couple weeks to make them bitches bounce. So I mean it when I be like, what's a turn around? No, really, turn around. Okay, I just wanna see if you gon' lie, you gon' love me. I was getting bras way before I got the money. Honey, since I've been a star, they don't love me. The ceiling got stars when the star got no ceiling. Stick it out, poke it out, stick it out, poke it out. Yeah, she got a little butt, so what? Big bag, she can show enough. Stick it out, poke it out, yeah, stick it out, poke it out.
Turn around, I wanna see. Do it look like how I look on IG? Bad from every angle, she got herself a trainer. I know that nigga can't help but take a little peek. Cold World and Faux Lauren, co-starring. We both flexing, Bo Jackson's, Bo Garden. These cap niggas that rap with piss po jargon. My latest whip, my latest chick was both foreign. I know all my hoes miss me. I've been the shit since I hit elementary. She know who run it, the one that keep it 100. To find a better nigga, you gon' have to live a century. Evidently, the coach can't bench me. The franchise player, I don't know how to miss, and they can't buy a layup. I'm anti what they are. I can't take my eyes off your pants, I swear. Girl, you shining like a damn Montclair. I'm thinking we should dip like the camera in air. If you the big stepper, I'm the landmine here. That's the one they know they can't come near.
I just wanna see if you gon' lie, you gon' love me. I was getting bras way before I got the money. Honey, since I've been a star, they don't love me. The ceiling got stars when the star got no ceiling. Stick it out, poke it out, stick it out, poke it out. Yeah, she got a little butt, so what? Big bag, she can show enough. Stick it out, poke it out, stick it out, poke it out. Break it down, look.
Poke it out, I want you. See you play whether you make a stallion or like coil or ray. Okay.
What if you gon' lie, you gon' love me? I was getting bras before I got the money. Honey, since I've been a star, they don't love me. Still ain't got stars in there, boy. I'm playing.
I'm going to play you guys. That's, of course, the first single off the Wale album. But here's the one off the single off, the album cut I really fuck with.
Love is on your side. Let your heart be your guide. Give another try. Because love is on your side.
I love me, baby, you should love you more. I love me, baby, you should love you more. I love me, baby, you should love you more. It's a shit storm more when your skin dark. I be loved by the women I be pissing off. I'm in lust with the money, but at what cost? If you got a full safe, but the mirror gone. As a kid, they was trying to get me rid of love. Looking back on my past, I was really numb. I be really going through a little syndrome. Caught imposter, but y'all wouldn't get it though. I need someone, I trust nothing. Police hate me, my girl done me. I got a couple of them, but my heart empty. They tried to tell me, but recently, it been hard for me. I've been isolated, I've been hard to reach. I'm at war with me, I just want some peace. Please, I love me, baby, you should love you more. I love me, baby, you should love you more. I love me, baby, you should love you more.
Yeah, I really like this one, man. And then you guys, you may know this one. If you're a wrestling fan, you may know this as being the NXT theme song.
Down south slanging, rolling with these hustlers. Trying to get rid of all you haters and you busters. Down south slanging, rolling with these hustlers. Trying to get rid of all you haters and you busters. What's the sense of it all? Pimpin' powder and pussy trying to make pennies. See niggas lie on the stand. Guess hell ain't harder than prison, who knows? In the 90s, the traffic stop get you tickets, a joke. Now they find you a traffic stop, get you riddled with holes. We be living too fast, we be sipping the slow. One of my niggas was selling work, now he selling no shows. I'm EJ, that's growth. Pay attention, take note. You over 40 and moving work, better be by the boat. Better be by the dock, better not be by your home. If niggas really won't hurt you, they gon' leave you alone. Cause the people's is coming.
Shout out to Discord peeps.
When a rapper say free my nigga, his
shouts to Stewart, MJ, Richard, Stilo Wars.
Trap nigga when them bash niggas got you on tape. Art imitating life. Now y'all just saying lies. Got these suburbanites thinking y'all ain't afraid to fight. Right in the mirror, crying a little. You shaking right? Your soul is in prison and there is no visitation rights. Down south slang, music with these hustlers. Keep it true to self and never sell out with these busters. I ain't finna tap dance, I don't give a fuck though. Keep it true to self and keep a crew of niggas cut though. Down south slanging, rolling with these hustlers. Trying to get rid of all you haters and you busters. Down south slanging, rolling with these hustlers. Trying to get rid of all you haters and you busters. Down south.
Yeah. 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 City going up, so you better buzz. Finna see what really wanna.
Shouts to people on Twitch.
Everybody tough, today gotta go and see the judge. Nigga better hush. Remember growing up, all I wanted was a big dog. Wanted me a plug.
Wintism 1.
A couple niggas in the head, still
One app listener.
I don't hide from this shit for life.
It's Cap, what up?
For my life.
Tenderest Grub, what up?
If I die, for the guys, have my candlelight going up. Like the club, after that go slide. Are you with that? I won't get back. I'm gonna hop out and crack. Are you with that? I want big racks.
All right, that's Vince Staples, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. Hope everyone's having a good night. Just wanted to jump on and say what's up real quick. I got the booster shot today. Crack-a-lackin'. In addition to the booster shot, got the flu shot simultaneous. Big vaccine vibe over here today. Found out that I was eligible to get the vaccine because I was J&J first. So figured, why waste any time? I want to be able to travel. Hey, Bear. I want to be able to travel to Mexico in a couple weeks and not stress it. And my mom's going to be stressing me about it. So went and got the booster today. Hopefully I won't feel like trash later. I'll certainly keep everyone updated. But the thing that actually made me want to jump on YouTube, and I'm on here on IG Live for a minute. So if you're on IG Live, come on over to YouTube, Rosenberg Radio on YouTube, to get the full audio, full video, full everything. I'm going to jump on there. And I'm going to play the audio. I want to play the audio on there as well of the Chappelle clip that went out today. That, essentially amounts to promo, I realize. Today was such a... If you haven't seen the clip, and I'm going to play it on the YouTube channel in a minute. If you haven't seen it, today's Chappelle clip about his whole situation with the trans community that came from the closer, it was like a straight-up acknowledgement that the whole thing is just sort of a troll. That's how I took it, at least. I thought it was... I thought it was very interesting, and not in a good way. Interesting in a sort of I continue to get more and more disappointed kind of way. And I know that we live in a world where if you give an opinion about being disappointed by something, that means that you hate someone, or that means that you want them canceled, or that you never loved them, never thought they were great, never thought... None of that, man. I love Chappelle. I have a drop from Chappelle for my college radio show. Okay, it goes way back with me and Dave Chappelle. I'm going to jump off. I'm going to play this right now. I'm going to jump off the IG Live. So jump on the YouTube Rosenberg Radio right now if you want to hang out. I'm on Twitch too. Twitch Rosenberg Radio or YouTube Rosenberg Radio. But yeah, I'm a big Chappelle fan. I always have been. I don't know if you guys ever saw it. He did our show a couple of years ago too. And when he did the show, he stayed for hours, and he invited me to a party. Like, he was great to me. Like, I don't take any pleasure in being disappointed in Dave Chappelle. I really don't. But simultaneously, I'm not just a fanboy. And like, I really find that a lot of people in my world, and when I say that, I mean like the hip hop world, there's a lot of fanboys for Chappelle out here that are just like letting him, they're acting like everything Dave is doing is genius because he's generally genius. And shouts to MJ in here years ago. You're not, it's like the Kanye thing. Just because you've done genius stuff doesn't mean everything you do, you get credit for being a genius. It doesn't mean that everything you're doing is well done. It doesn't mean that everything you're doing is right, moral, just, good, funny, uplifting, positive, thought-provoking, smart. Because that was really my biggest issue with this last Chappelle special, The Closer. Two things really stood out to me. Number one, how negative he's gotten. Like how dark everything generally is. And number two, just how not funny it was. Like I kept waiting for I'm not saying there weren't funny parts, guys. It's Dave Chappelle, okay? Please spare me with come on, there wasn't funny parts? Of course there were funny parts. It's Dave Chappelle. The man's one of the illest to ever do it. But relative to what we're used to from Dave Chappelle, what we're used to getting from Dave Chappelle, it was, to me, weak. Like that moment when when you're watching a Chappelle special and he gets quiet and he gets to that spot where you're like, oh, here we go. Here comes that moment. Here comes that thing that's like so thought-provoking, or he's going to say the thing now. Here comes the moment that we're waiting for. And he gets quiet, and he'll build you up in the joke, and it's awkward and it's uncomfortable, but then he gets quiet, and here comes that line that makes you go, shit. Man, I didn't know that's where Dave was going to go there. And that just didn't happen in this special to me. Like that to me was like, I kept waiting for that impactful line from him where I got what I've gotten on, Killing Him Softly and so many subsequent specials where you really like double over in laughter, or just, he's thinking about things on a different level. It wasn't smart. That was to me like the biggest downer. It wasn't smart. Like he really sat there in 2021 and read the definition of feminist. It was so base. And then he spends the last 20 minutes going down the road of the story of his friend who tragically committed suicide. And while there were things about that were interesting, I again was like, where do we just go on that? Where do we just go? By the way, if you're on Twitter and you want to hang out, I'm on live on YouTube and Twitch at Rosenberg Radio. I'm going to play this. So I'm going to play this audio now that came out today. And And you guys give me your thoughts on this. I'm going to read some comments as well. Let's see. Here we go.
It's been said in the press that I was invited to speak to the transgender employees at Netflix, and I refuse. That is not true. If they had invited me, I would have accepted it, although I am confused about what we are speaking about. I said what I said, and boy, I heard what you said. My God, how could I not? You said you want to say...
That's see, already I'm annoyed. That already to me was like, I heard what you said, how could I not? With this tone, as if he was surprised that the LGBTQ community was as loud as they were after the special. Why are you acting surprised? Come on, Dave. You're fucking trolling. That's a troll that you even have that tone. Let's keep going.
Working environment at Netflix. Well, it seems like I'm the only one that can't go to the office anymore. I want everyone in this audience to know that even though the media frames this, that it's me versus that community, that is not what it is. Do not blame the LGBTQ community for any of this shit. This has nothing to do with them. It's about corporate interests and what I can say and what I cannot say.
I like how he said the media spins it. Did the media spin it?
Everyone I know from that community has been nothing but loving and supporting. So I don't know what all this nonsense is about. In summer 2020, when the whole world shut down, I was outside doing shows. My neighbor had a cornfield, and he let me throw shows there, and people came from all over the country. Some people came from around the world to see those shows. The best comedians on earth came to my home and broke bread with me, and we lived our lives. We found a way to keep moving forward. I made a whole documentary about it. The first night of those shows was a piece that some of you might have seen. It was called 846, and it dealt with the death, the murder of George Floyd.
That was his last great special, by the way, in my opinion. That was truly thought-provoking.
This film that I made was invited to every film festival in the United States, and some of those invitations I accepted. And when this controversy came out about the closer, they began disinviting me from these film festivals. And now, today, not a film company, not a movie studio, not a film festival, nobody will touch this film. Thank God for Ted Sarandos at Netflix. He's the only one that didn't cancel me yet.
We're halfway through. Let's pause. He's the only one that didn't cancel you yet. Dave Chappelle has not been canceled. Dave Chappelle has not been canceled. Now, he says that he was going to be invited to film festivals and the film festivals rescinded, et cetera, et cetera. I guess if that's true, that's some version of cancellation. Like you were going to be invited to film festivals which you're no longer invited to, or people don't want to stand next to you. I thought canceled was about you're not able to make money anymore or do business anymore. I thought cancel had like some actual repercussions. Okay. I mean, I guess there's a world. Pardon me for not being overly sympathetic that you spent an entire special poking at a group, poking at a conversation to see if we could stir some shit up and if people would try to cancel you. And when some people stepped out, we're like, yeah, we're not going to fuck with you anymore. you then get on stage again after and kind of throw a pity party? I'm sorry. Someone said, Giovanni Davis, you're not, Diaz, I've been watching your comments, you're a douche. But if he's losing deals, then it's part of being canceled? Or no, he hasn't lost deals. What deals did he lose? His only deal is with Netflix. He says that no company will touch his film yet, but the deal for his film wasn't canceled. He didn't have a deal for his movie, and he now does not have a deal for his movie. Not as far as we know yet. That's not a thing. That hasn't happened yet. Well, let's wait and see. We'll wait and see if that happens. But the fact that people could listen to this and not think it's like poor me is wild to me. And I get it. Dave Chappelle has equity with us because he's been amazing and he's had an unbelievable career. It's a lot of equity and a lot of love. So you refuse to accept that he could do something shitty. The special wasn't good. He sounds angry all the time. The whole thing is just this complaining sadness of like, how could people come for me? Please let me and my celebrity friends live. I just can't believe people don't see it as that. But I guess once we like someone, that's it. We just going to keep defending them. But if it was someone else, if it was someone else who didn't have the same equity, we'd be crushing them. And by the way, I want to say this again. I don't think Dave Chappelle should be canceled. First of all, I don't think that canceling is a real thing particularly. Certainly not with someone like Dave Chappelle. Dave Chappelle is uncancelable. Peter Rosenberg could get canceled. Someone who works for a corporation, if all those companies that give you airtime cease to give you that, that's being canceled. Joe Rogan, another person who's constantly talking about the world canceling, can't be canceled. He's on his own making $1 gazillion. There's no being canceled. Dave Chappelle can't be canceled. Dave Chappelle doesn't need one company involved in him to make tons of money. So there is no canceling. That whole concept is completely void on him. So the whole thing has been done under the guise of, I don't want to get canceled. Please don't cancel me. He's not being canceled. He can't be canceled. Even if Netflix pulled the specials, he couldn't be canceled. Someone jumps in and says, no disrespect, in my opinion, I think that second Space Jews comment got to you, Peter. Honestly, no disrespect. Real quick, how can someone who's not me, and I've never said that publicly, say, I think that's what it was that bothered you? Actually, when I watched the special, I didn't care about the Jewish stuff. I know Dave's not an anti-Semite. Did I think it was funny? No. Did he tell the story right of the Jews in Israel? No. He squeezed it into a joke that didn't make sense, but I get it. I mean, I didn't think it was great, and certainly the crowd, that Detroit crowd, did not get what he was saying. Like, I don't think that in Detroit people are as actively thinking about the Israel issue as you might get in New York or Los Angeles. I didn't think it really worked. But, no, actually, when I watched it in context, I wasn't offended. I just thought it was meh. I know this is hard for people to believe. I am not close. I don't think I have a close friend or family member who's part of the trans community. And that is the part I'm bothered by. I know this is crazy, but sometimes you can be bothered by things people say about other people. I know that's really, really hard for people to accept, but to me, there were moments, of course there were good parts of it, when I thought there were a couple of spots, when he starts digging into why has the LGBTQ community made progress so fast, and why is the black community not afforded that same progress in this country? That's interesting. That's thought-provoking. That's a good place to be in. I'm there for that conversation. It's very real, and there's a lot of shit in there. By the way, he has talked about that now for like 5 years. But that concept has nuggets, I think, that are worth holding on to. But then he'll throw in these lines, the whole turf thing, where he really straight up like tells trans people, like, I just don't believe in what your entire plight is. I find it offensive. I'm just like, how can you tell people you don't believe in who they are and you don't believe in their experience? You're allowed to think that. But why, if you're a powerful, influential person, do you want to get up on stage and do that? In a country where, when you look at the statistics on violence against different minority groups, the trans community are as in danger as anyone. Considering what a small group they are in this country historically, the amount of trans people that are killed or abused, it's shockingly high. Why, when you're a really popular, influential, straight male comedian, do you want to use your platform to spend 4 specials straight talking about it? If you want to do some stuff on the LGBTQ versus the black community in terms of progress and equity, I think that's interesting. And equality, I should say, I think that's interesting. But when you just start sort of hanging up on these little tropes and saying nasty things, to me, it falls short. Let's hear the rest of the clip.
Cancel me yet.
Hold on, we got a big pop there. Let's see what we got there.
Not a film festival. Nobody will touch this film. Thank God for Ted Sarandos and Netflix. He's the only one that didn't cancel me yet.
Come on.
To the transgender community, I am more than willing to give you an audience, but you will not summon me. I am not bending to anybody's demands.
Oh, that's so brave, dude. So brave.
And if you want to meet with me, I'd be more than willing to, but I have some conditions.
Okay, where's the joke? Here we go, the conditions. Let's wait for the conditions on the joke.
First of all, you cannot come if you have not watched my special from beginning to end. You must come to a place of my choosing and a time of my choosing. And thirdly, you must admit that Hannah Gadsby is not funny.
I don't know who that is, so.
Mr. C.
Mr. C is calling me. I gotta call you right back, Mr. C. Yeah, I don't know who Hannah Gadsby is, so I can't speak to her. Do you guys know? Can someone fill me in on who Hannah Gadsby is? Am I supposed to know?
Mr. C.
Okay, C.
I desperately want people to see this movie. But I understand why investors would be nervous. Since nobody will touch it, I'll tell you what I'll do. I will make it available for all of you in 10 American cities, going on sale in the next few days. You will be able to see this movie in its entirety, and you can see what they're trying to obstruct you from seeing. And you can judge for yourself, but you can't.
Okay, let's go back.
Cannot have this in 10 American cities going on. I desperately want people to see this movie. But I understand why investors would be nervous. Since nobody will touch it, I'll tell you what I'll do. I will make it available for all of you in 10 American cities, going on sale in the next few days. You will be able to see this movie in its entirety, and you can see what they're trying to obstruct you from seeing. And you can judge for yourself, but you cannot have this conversation and exclude my voice from it. That is only fair. You have to answer the question, am I canceled or not? Then let's go. Thank you very much and good night.
Okay. I don't get it. Was that all just promo to then say tickets are on sale for his new movie? Is that movie something that people are trying to fight people from seeing? It's a movie about how he had comedy at a farm in Ohio during the pandemic. Who would have fought against that? If you're saying that you're now being fought against and people are holding you back, yeah, people don't want to get near you for this in this moment. There are movie companies that don't want to get near you because there are groups of people offended by what you just said, which you specifically almost intentionally did. It's like this bizarre self-fulfilling prophecy of self-pity. I just find it so weird and like not him. I'll be honest, to me, watching that clip, he sounds drunk. That clip to me, he sounds like a dude who's just drinking on stage and saying things. And I feel like everyone's sort of ignoring that. Like, we're so focused on the specifics of what he's saying. And you guys, I'll read the comments here in a second. You can tell me if you think I'm crazy. But we're also focused on the specifics of what he's saying and if he's being offensive, that like, is he good? He doesn't seem good to me. And some people are so caught up with defending him and insisting that every time he opens his mouth, genius comes out, that y'all aren't even looking at whether or not he's good. To me, he doesn't physically look right. His thought process isn't as clear and crisp as it normally is. It's just not that good. And to me, Dave Chappelle being not that good is a Dave Chappelle who's not doing that well because he's that good. He's that naturally good and gifted. As someone who's been going to his stand-up since I was 20 years old. That's 22 years ago. Him not being super sharp to me is, I don't know. I think there's a chance he's not that good. Let me read some of the comments here. Here's a lot of people talking shit. Did you expect every second to be compelling to you? I've been trying to digest you on Hot 97 for years and still try to give you a chance. So real quick, you've been trying to digest me for years on Hot 97. I haven't won you over. You're not compelled. And you're on my YouTube live on a weeknight? Okay, let's move on. Peter, you're really spot on about this issue. The whole equal opportunity offender shtick is tired and dated, and Chappelle struggles to bring it back. It's annoying to watch. The equal opportunity offender thing is bullshit. It's bullshit. You can't do that. You can't do equal opportunity offender in 2021. I'm sorry, you can't. You can't. The only reason he's given an opportunity to have a conversation is because he's Dave Chappelle and the equity that he's built over all these years. You can't claim, I make fun of everybody now. Stop. You can't do that anymore. If he only talked shit about white people, he'd be fine. No one would care. No one would bat an eye. The only people who'd be mad at him are the same MAGA people who hate all black people. Okay? He'd be good if it was all white jokes. But once you start going into other actually oppressed groups, like the LGBTQ community, you can't do the equal opportunity offender shit in 2021. I'm sorry. That's a great way of putting it. Even in the CNN article, this is El Jefe, even on the CNN article interviewing trans comedians, they didn't even say specifically what was hurtful, violent, or even considered hate speech. I never said violent or hate speech. If they didn't find it hurtful, specific people, that's fine. I respect that. My whole main point is, yes, I find pieces of it offensive, but that doesn't matter. My main point is it's just not for me to say. Like, I'm just annoyed when other people are telling the LGBTQ community how to feel. You don't have to be offended by it. If you're just like a straight dude, though, and you're like, I don't find it offensive, I'm like, I don't give a fuck whether you find it offensive or not. And same way you don't have to care that I find it offensive. Me finding it offensive is whatever. But the fact that there's a lot of people who do find it offensive, and those people are being like told, shut up, you're sensitive, you're cancel culture, you're a cancel culture warrior, and that's the reason you're doing this, to me, that's unfair. And frankly, if you're not a part of the group, how do you have the right to tell them to feel that way? Just because you like Dave Chappelle and think he's really smart? And he's historically has been? Yo, P, side question. Do you think Stat Guy Greg could pull off Omos for Halloween? I swear he has the look. He could pull it off. He'd have to shoot from an angle to make himself look bigger. I want to see the Ricky Velez Netflix special. Actually, Ricky's a guest of me and Seif's. He's going to be a guest of me and Seif on November 9th at Stand Up New York. Wanep Live. Wanep is live. Nicholas says that Hannah Gadsby is an Australian comedian, writer, actress, and television presenter. In 2018, the release of Nanette on Netflix exposed her to an international audience, won Emmys. I don't know. Okay. Is she trans? Is that the joke? Mike, thank you for the love, man. This man gets us through morning commute, the drive home, and everything in between. Give this man some likes, people. Thank you. Yes, please give some likes and some subs, particularly. Likes and subs, please. Leo says, I 100% cringed at a lot of the trans jokes, etc., and the special was mid, but I also think the conversation he is trying to have is getting lost in it. But that's his fault. I totally agree with you. The conversation's lost because it's lost in the special. I didn't even understand what the conversation was at the end when he tells you the whole story about his friend dying and is basically like, yeah, and I created a fund for her daughter. And I didn't understand where we were going there. She's not your tribe, she's my tribe. Are you sure? What, just because a bunch of assholes were mean to her on social media? To me, that version of tribes was completely narrow. I didn't get it. It was almost there. It just wasn't thought all the way through to me. Karma Serene, what up? Let's see. You act like Nas released all classics, like Jay-Z never took a dud. Give the dude a break. Everything that releases will not resonate with everyone. I agree. First of all, I'm happy to give him a break. I'm annoyed that he dropped another thing using this issue as promo. He specifically dropped a 5-minute clip on his IG today. He didn't make it just like some random funny shit. He dropped a promo clip of bringing back this conversation. So am I like am I the bad media guy because I keep talking about it? This was a headline everywhere today because he did it. He knew what he was doing. So he could promote the 10 premieres of the movie in 10 cities. He could have done that in so many different ways and still sold it out. Don't make me the bad guy for pointing it out. I think when we start telling comedians they can't do certain things, it's dangerous, and 90% of people found it funny. So you cannot think it's great or funny, but you got to let comedians be comedians. Sorry, Bruins, man, that's weak. That's weak. It is. I'm sorry. If Jim Gaffigan did a special next month and got up and started saying racist bullish in his special, Jim Gaffigan, the whitest man in America, you would say you just got to let comedians be comedians? No, of course not. We'd be like, how could Jim Gaffigan, of all people, do a special where 45 minutes are dedicated to a group that he's not a part of? Jim Gaffigan decides he wants to do 45 minutes just talking about serious issues, but slipping in kind of nasty jokes about the Latino community for 45 minutes. No, let's keep it to me, because Jim Gaffigan's very not Jewish. Jim Gaffigan all of a sudden does a full special, spends 45 minutes of the hour basically talking about Jews. Some of it's funny, some of it's thought-provoking, but some of it sounds just kind of dickish. Yeah, I think that'd be a problem. Like, I'm sorry, we don't live in that era anymore of like comedians are just comedians. And by the way, I never felt that way. There are always comedians who did some certain stuff on race or gender, and I would just be like, ugh, no, not for me. I don't trust you. I don't trust you and know you well enough to think that you're not actually a racist. The difference is we do know Chappelle, and I do believe Chappelle's a good person. So it's not like because of this I'm going to throw Dave Chappelle away, but I'm going to keep questioning him on why he's pushing this. He wants to drop more shit about it. Well, we have the right to push back on it. Don't want to cancel him. Don't want to not watch his shit. Not going to not watch old Chappelle Show episodes. I'm here for all of it. But this conversation's happening. Karma Serene says, we're a society that thrives on outrage, so I can see where they're coming from. I agree where his material isn't as sharp as before, but at the same time, I think this whole situation has been blown up by the media more since cancel culture is what's in right now. I'm not going to really listen. I'm in general defensive when people get into that whole blame the media thing in general. I am defensive on that. But in this case particularly, I'm defensive of it because he decided to do this repeatedly. Y'all realize that he ended the special by playing I Will Survive? Like, everything he did was to poke and strike a nerve. I don't think you can really blame the media in this one. I'm sorry. This is what Dave wanted. This is the conversation he wanted, right? Chappelle has joked about so many groups over the years, Nicholas says. What I think has changed in his newer, quote, thoughtful, air quotes, delivery, which now comes off as more social commentary than straight comedy. That's for sure. That's another thing, too, that's weak to me about the whole, like, it's comedy. Is it comedy? Some of it's comedy. Some of it's like a fucking lecture. Some of it's like a TED Talk. So I think it's kind of weak to go with the, it's all comedy business to me is, nah. It doesn't feel that way. And here you are doing the same, profiting from Dave's bigotry. What does that make you? Am I profiting from Dave's bigotry? So I should not talk about it. I need to just lay out then. Leo says, well, Pete, you can never be the bad media guy since you're giving him promo. Just don't assume he has an alcohol issue. That's rude, bruh. I didn't say he has an alcohol issue. I'm just saying he doesn't seem good to me. Like when I see him on stage, he just doesn't look like the dude that he's always been. R.I.P. comedy, sports, movies, etc. The wokies ruined everything. Shut up, bitch. You little bitch. God. Whenever anyone complains about the wokies, oh, God. You make it out. This narrative is so incredible. You small-brained, feeble know-nothings who are scared of the world. You're scared of your daughter ending up with a black man. You're scared of the Jewish media corrupting your thoughts. You're scared of gay TV shows turning your son gay. You idiots think that the, quote, woke left is soft. That people who are loud and vocal about the feelings of others, that's a soft thing to be. Meanwhile, you're the one bitching because your feelings are hurt. And let's be honest, you only care about yourself. So you don't sit home and cry. Maybe some of you do. But what you instead do is attack the woke left. You're really just a baby desperate for a pacifier. and you lash out at everybody and call them soft because that's what you feel. So you need to lash out at the woke left because you're now crying because the way of the world where to simply be born with a penis and white skin meant that you were absolutely on top. Because it's being like evened out by 10% has you so shook that you're freaking out, voting for racists, crashing the Capitol, screaming about the woke left, and yet you call us, we're the ones that are soft. Hey, Peter, did you watch Dune? No, I didn't. I've not seen Dune yet. I don't really know much about Dune. I just saw that it was out. Thanks, Julian Vega. Thanks, Striker88. Phil Sanchez says, the media didn't make him do this. He did it for his own. He has the right to say what he wants, and society/media has the right to critique it. That's how it works. I agree. My man Carlos Herrera says, I agree, he did seem, quote, off, in my opinion. Don't know for a fact, but didn't seem like the other specials. That's all I'm saying. That's how I feel. Peter, don't entertain the clowns. Don't give them the time of day. They're only going to hear what they want to hear. Let them type their ish while watching your live stream. You got the W here. Thank you, man. You're right. Mike says, I'll never be okay accepting that Cheeto Fingers and Window Lickers stole the word woke. They did. It's gone. Yo, and if you're that dude, if you're this dude in here right now who's writing all the, like, wokey things, wokey this, blah, 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 blah. You have to sit here watching me? Like, I can't imagine sitting around watching a Donald Trump Jr. live chat so I could, scream out random things into his group chat. That's sad. I will say, because I promised I would mention this, I did not love the Curb premiere, to be honest. I was a little disappointed with Curb. Like, listen, I know that the Curb storyline doesn't have to be serious or good or even make sense, but, like, the storyline of the episode was so weak to me that it almost took me out of it. I was like, okay. Like, there were a couple of moments. There were definitely a couple of moments. And, by the way, there have been bad Curb premieres, in my opinion, in the past. There have been Curb premieres I was not into before. But yeah, I thought it was a low level Curb premiere. And I'll tell you the truth, one of my favorite funny people ever, Albert Brooks, was not good. Like, he had good lines at times, but his delivery was not good. Vonkowski Oddities. Interesting name. He's on the Twitch at Rosenberg Radio. I appreciate your comment, though. He said, hey, just listen to ENN. I'm 100% with you on the wedding stuff. I don't know why it's an issue. I wouldn't care at all. I know, man. It's like this really weird thing because I can actually tell that Michael and Don are, like, legitimately annoyed with me. And I truly don't understand. I do not understand why this is an issue. For those of you who are watching who don't listen to the K Show every day on 98.7 ESPN, yeah, we had a whole thing where we have a guy we used to work with. He's a great guy. And he was a producer on our show, and he had a wedding like 6 weeks ago. And when he had said wedding, I didn't bring a gift. I sent a gift. And I didn't send it for now it's been almost 2 months. I sent it 2 weeks ago, and it just bounced back because I put the wrong address on it. So I told my friend that the gift was coming, but he hadn't gotten it yet. Michael and Don are killing me. They think I am classless scum because I didn't bring cash to the wedding. And I've just tried to explain that for me, it's not a thing. I've been married before, and at the wedding, I don't even remember who gave me gifts and who didn't. And I had a bunch of friends who never gave me anything. Some brought gifts, some sent gifts, some never sent gifts. It just wasn't that big a deal. And certainly I didn't give a shit if someone sent it 6 weeks late. I don't know. I always find it annoying. I don't expect people to want to carry money in their pocket. Send it whenever you feel like it. And they really think I am the scum of the earth. Stryker says, Curb is the most uneven great show ever. Some episodes are horrendous, while others are all-time classics. I don't think there are many that are horrendous, though. Nicholas says, TMKS ended on an ugly note today. Lots of shots fired at each other. Love you guys. Hope everything's okay. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. Yeah, I also thought the lack of COVID on Curb was disappointing. They mentioned it at moments, but then it didn't exist in other moments. Not one mask being seen, but then they talk about COVID hoarding. I don't know. It just left me wanting more. Pete, what do you think? Did Curb lose a little of its luster when the HD kicked in? I feel that way. I don't. The HD kicked in. I never noticed that. I never thought that. I'll tell you this. As I'm looking at a picture of Larry David in my office here, love the man. This was the first episode that I felt like, you know what? Maybe it's time. Maybe it's time. Like I said, though, it's episode 1. Let's give it a full season and see where it goes. But today, as I feel today about yesterday's episode, I felt like maybe this is the season where it's actually he's actually just kind of done. Oh, yeah, Fernando says, speaking of Curb, sounds like that episode where Larry didn't bring a gift after Ben Stiller said not to bring a gift. Yeah, how do I block this motherfucker, man? Hold on, let me see if I can block this motherfucker. It just gets so annoying. Carlos, you know I'm watching Succession, baby. It's number 1 right now. Succession and Morning Show are my number 1 and 2 right now. For the last couple years, the last year and a half. Succession's been my number 1 now since it started. But then the Morning Show joined it a year and a half ago, too, or a year ago. STSFYU says, seemed like Syph understood the criticism of Chappelle when you brought it up on one app. Are you going to discuss it more? I might discuss it more with him. I never want to put Syph in a bad position because, him and Chappelle are close. But I'll see if I'm still thinking about this when we record on the weekend. But, yeah, I thought Syph was really fair in talking about it, and reasonable. Hey, guys, I'm going to go watch Monday Night Raw. I appreciate you all very, very much. If you're here on Twitch or YouTube and you're not a subscriber and you hung out tonight, hit subscribe. I'd appreciate it. All of this is an effort to just slowly over time build up this YouTube channel. Used to have a lot more followers, neglected it for a very long time, and I'm just trying to build it up. So if you're in the YouTube right now, hit like, hit subscribe. Those things actually matter, and I appreciate that. You Team Kendall or Team Logan? Yo, I'm Team Kendall, fam. Logan's an evil monster. Like, let's just be honest. Is Kendall messy? Yes. Is he sure what he's going to do? No. He's got problems. He's a real person. But guess what? This is Logan's fault. Logan is the one who told Kendall, you don't have it. You're not a killer. And what did Kendall do? He fucking became a killer. That's my favorite thing about the show. That's the beauty of this storyline. Logan told Kendall, I can't make you the man because you're not a killer. Kendall became a killer, stuck the knife in his father's back. Goat shit. Phenomenal. That's what the show is. Thank you, Leo. Thank you, John. Thank you, Carlos. Make sure y'all hit like and subscribe. And yes, Carlos, you're right. Greg is the best. Greg is no doubt the highlight. He is the laugh of Succession every week. Cousin Greg is the laugh of Succession. If somehow you're watching it, you're hanging out watching me rap about whatever, I appreciate you so much. But trust me, the second I'm done, go watch Succession if you never started on HBO Max. I promise you. If you're down for like a show that's based on incredible drama and dialogue, it is the show.